There is a pain you can't name because you were never allowed to speak it. You swallowed the tears, you forced the smile, you convinced yourself it was no big deal, and yet that silence shaped everything. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This is not just a psychological insight, it's a spiritual truth. There are things you didn't say that still live inside you. There are emotions you buried that grew roots, quiet roots that now direct your reactions, your fears, your choices. It's not just about the trauma, it's about the silence that followed it. The silence that said, "Be strong. Don't speak. Move on. Forget." But the soul does not forget, and that unspoken pain becomes a voice. A hidden voice that whispers through anxiety, self-sabotage, fatigue, overthinking, and the sense that something is always missing. You are not weak for feeling this way. You are just human, carrying truths that were never named. This video is for you. If your smile hides a storm, if your body carries a weight you can't explain, if your choices feel like echoes of something older than you. Today, we speak about the unspoken, about the hidden commands inside you, and about the silent parts of your soul that are still waiting to be seen, heard, and finally healed. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the part of you that holds everything you were not allowed to be, not just your fears but your gifts, not just your shame but your truth, not just your anger but your deepest need for protection. The shadow is not evil. It is simply repressed. And the more you push it down, the more it finds other ways to rise. It comes back through projection, blaming others for what you haven't faced in yourself. It appears in attraction, being drawn to what you secretly long to become. It lives in your body, through tension, illness, fatigue, and it guides your life silently from the dark. Jung was clear. What you do not face within, you will meet outside, in fate, in patterns, in people. Every time you were told, "Don't cry, be a good girl," real men don't feel that. Your psyche learned to hide something. But the soul never forgets what it was forced to bury. And until you turn inward, until you shine a light on the unspoken pain, the repressed truth, the forgotten child within, you will keep living a life that is only a fraction of what it could be. This is not a punishment. It is an invitation. The shadow is not your enemy. It is your map, and healing begins when you stop fearing it and start listening. There's a silence that protects and a silence that poisons. The silence of sacred stillness heals, but the silence of repression, it corrodes from within. Many people live in a quiet war. They smile, but inside something is screaming. They perform, succeed, even inspire, but deep down they're exhausted from holding it all in. Unspoken grief becomes numbness. Unexpressed anger becomes anxiety. Denied sadness becomes a kind of fatigue that no rest can cure. Carl Jung understood this deeply. When something remains unspoken, it doesn't disappear. It transforms into dreams that disturb you, into reactions you can't control, into relationships that replay old wounds, into a life that feels disconnected from its center. The truth is, your soul is not tired from doing too much. It's tired from saying too little. And the most sacred healing often begins with one internal act, naming the truth, even if no one else hears it, even if it never leaves your lips. It begins with the courage to sit in silence and listen to what your soul has been trying to say all along. Not to blame, not to explain, but simply to acknowledge. The moment you give yourself that honesty, you begin to dissolve the power that silence held over you. You begin to return. In the beginning was the word, not a sword, not a rule, not a punishment, but a word. This is how the Bible begins, with the divine act of naming. God did not create the world through noise, but through spoken intention. Let there be light. and there was light. This isn't just theology, it's a spiritual psychology. What is unnamed remains unformed. What is unspoken remains unfinished. What is repressed remains in the dark. And in the dark, it grows distorted. But what is named begins to heal. In Psalm 32, David writes, "When I kept silent, my bones wasted away. Then I acknowledged my sin to you, and you forgave me." This is not about religious guilt. This is about divine restoration. The moment we name the pain, God meets us in the place we feared the most, not with wrath, but with rest. Silence can become sacred, but only when it is chosen, not forced. When we stop hiding our truth, even just to ourselves, we open the space for grace to enter. The tongue has the power of life and death. So when you speak the truth in the quiet of your heart, you're not just healing psychologically, you're aligning spiritually. You are joining the divine act of creation. Let there be light inside me. When the truth is finally named, something ancient begins to relax inside you. It's as if the soul sighs in relief. Finally, I don't have to hide anymore. You don't need to share it with the world. You don't need to post it. You don't even need to fully understand it. But when you speak the unspoken, even if only in prayer, in journaling, or in silent honesty, you reclaim the part of you that had been exiled. This is the return of the self. Carl Jung believed that the soul's healing begins when we integrate what was once denied. Not through violence, but through compassionate awareness. You do not fight the shadow. You embrace it, and through this embrace your energy shifts. You're no longer leaking life trying to suppress what hurts. You're no longer stuck in patterns that repeat because the truth was never voiced. The soul, once reunited with its truth, begins to shine again. Quietly, softly, but unmistakably. Your presence changes. Your eyes soften. Your nervous system calms. Your decisions come from alignment, not fear. This is what it means to be whole again, not perfect, not immune to pain, but no longer afraid of your own voice. There is something in you that's been waiting to be heard, not by the world, not by your family, not even by your partner, but by you. There's a sentence, a word, a cry, a truth that was buried long ago, and yet it's been shaping everything. Your choices, your boundaries, your silence, your fatigue. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This message is not about shouting, it's not about confession, it's not about fixing, it's about one sacred act, listening to what you've been silencing. Tonight, before you sleep, don't scroll, don't distract, don't escape. Sit with yourself for just 1 minute. Breathe, close your eyes and ask, what am I afraid to say, even to myself? Then say it, softly, gently, without judgment. You are not your repression, you are not your silence. You are the one returning to the truth that was always there. If this touched something in your soul, write this in the comments. I free what I once silenced. You are not broken, you were just unheard. Until now.